Greetings. Welcome. I hope I'm not muted. Oh, I gotta get in the free conference call too. Okay. Getting all the tech stuff. If you can hear me, Lisa, would you please say yes or no or something?
You are the only participant in the conference.
For that one, yes. All right. Now this will have to be. I want to record.
The recording
here
has started.
and screen share. I need to screen share the whole desktop right now. Okay. Greetings, Lisa. I didn't see if you commented in their chat or something if you are able to hear me, so I can make sure we've got that going. Lisa? All right. Greetings, Joe. I don't know which one.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Are you on free conference call or Zoom?
I am, yes.
Free conference call? Okay. Just getting out everything going. I'm able to use Zoom with free conference call too, so I'm finishing that out for the year as well.
Oh, really?
So things have been working pretty well. We had the new member orientation earlier this afternoon. That went well. So,
Oh, okay.
but I didn't do it through Zoom. I did it through free conference call, but I also shared it out on YouTube, just like with this.
Okay.
So, getting there. How are you
For
doing?
some reason, my camera. I'm okay. I'm on my break
Oh,
for the evening. Yeah. My camera's not working on here, but you know how I am with.
I totally, yeah, it's all good.
Yeah. Let's see if I can fix that.
All right. Go ahead.
I do have a meeting in about 45 minutes.
Okay.
Marshall's. So, did you get my email I sent out?
I got the email, but I had not had a chance to look at it yet.
Okay. Well, when you get a chance and an opening, we can touch upon those things at the bottom of the hour if you want.
Okay. Sounds great.
It's content regarding some of the Federation of States recommended reading about common law courts.
Oh, great. Okay.
Yeah, and also a link for all 50 states for those interested in diving deeper into the details of what a state librarian offers.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Awesome.
yours is on there. Kentucky, yeah, all 50 states.
Woo-hoo. Exciting, exciting. Oh, and I gotta do the radio over here. It's a manual, turn it on, so we have that access too. So people can go
So
there and listen. Go ahead.
So are you on Zoom right now and you're streaming?
I'm on Zoom and free conference call, streaming to
I'll
YouTube,
see it.
and I think Rumble. They only give you one time now to schedule a live, so I
What do they
could.
call that? Multicast.
Yeah, something like I use that OBS
Yeah.
software. It's
Can you hear me,
free.
Christine?
Oh, yes. Hi, Lisa. I can hear you now. Welcome, dear.
Good, okay.
All right, now I got you talking. You got to tell everybody what county you're on.
St. Joseph.
Awesome. Welcome, St. Joseph, Indiana. St. Joseph County. Awesome. Okay, so now I have to ask you because it will be, you'll know more as we get into this evening's agenda, but how did you know about the Zoom link? Did you get it?
You emailed it to me.
Okay, was it like a regular newsletter email or was it a different kind of invite? You're in Zoom though, so it should be regular email. Okay. I'm starting to do a little surveying to see how this is going through. Joe got in on free conference call, so I think he got the invite email from free conference call, right?
Yeah, it was a little bit different though. It was a little different.
It was a little different. Okay. I've had to do some working with the email server, and I'm going into that in this agenda this evening. Okay. So we'll get, so hopefully we can get some of that figured out. Now, I don't think you're going to be able to see me in Zoom, but
I can see you in I can see a little thumbnail.
Oh, you can? Okay, good. Okay, good. Okay, great. Because I'm not sure how cameras are connected to what and everything. All right, we'll go ahead and get things going, so we can, because we want to make sure we get through some of this stuff here. Okay, so greetings. This is Christine Van Pelt on Gibson County, Indiana. It is Monday, December the 4th, 2023. I want to welcome you to the Indiana General Assembly and Militia Assembly. We are in session. We have our guest speaker, Joe Hayes. He's our Area 4 Postal Chief, and he's here giving us extra training and that added support each week to be able to help us all in our knowledge in walking correctly in this path. Justin may or may not have an opportunity to get on the call. He's our guest marshal at arms from Kentucky. Kentucky is our neighboring state within our same postal area. And so we are sharing support services to be able to, because we are family and we're helping to build community. All right, so we'll go ahead and get things going. Let's start with a moment of silence to honor our Creator, because we wouldn't be able to do any of this without Him. All right. We'll go forward. Get all the little windows clicked. Okay. We'll go with the Bivens decision now. This meeting is private. Bearing false witness, misrepresentation, and posting inflammatory rhetoric in public forums is forbidden and shall be addressed in an appropriate manner. Lisa, if you could mute. You got a lot of feedback going on. Thank you. To eliminate all conflict and false allegations, is there anyone in attendance at today's meeting or call that is a member or agent of any law enforcement agency or public agency of the federal, state, county, city, or township agencies present? Is there any response to the Bivens decision? You can raise your hand or comment or put it in the chat. We'd like to know at least ahead of time, and we can go from there as to how that would play out. Let's see. Welcome. I see some chats in YouTube. Let's go ahead. Well, nope. Let's take a minute and finish the Bivens. All right. So I didn't see any response in the Bivens that was relative to this, right? Okay. Awesome. Okay. So let's keep going. Any response to the Bivens decision for the second time? Hearing and seeing none. Any response to the Bivens decision for the third and final time? Hearing none. Furthermore, anyone who is here under false pretenses, anyone who is working for any foreign government, including the territorial United States or municipal United States, anyone who is being paid or coerced to be here, must fully disclose their presence and purpose now and leave the premises or the call. No one can attend any of our meetings in secret or in private without answering to a roll call or without announcing or declaring your presence. Okay? All right, and so with that, we have some chat in the YouTube chat. We want to welcome them in the call. I messed that, moved that around. We want to welcome them to the call. Make sure you have your county and state. Let's see. Dustin and Stephanie on Kentucky, Bullitt County, checking in. Welcome. Thank you. Thank you for letting me know that you can hear me. Awesome. Thank you. And yes, we have those on Kentucky that are on the call as well. We welcome you, and we'll keep going. All right. So for this evening, let me minimize this a little bit so we can get it. Oh, I don't want it that way. Here we go. All right, so we've got, I'll go into the, let's see, I need to make sure I get in our agenda what counties, Bullitt on Kentucky. And I'm not going to forget you, Lisa dear, okay?
You're good.
Okay. I probably did not spell that correctly. Oh, I did. Okay, and this is Dustin and Stephanie. Welcome, because we'll have the agenda link so that you have that it has all that you're on the record that you were on the call with us. Dustin and Stephanie. All right, and then we have Miss Lisa. She is on St. Joseph County. All right, anyone else? We need to make sure we get on here. All right, make sure you have your county and state and at least your first name in the chat if you're on the call with us. We welcome you, and we'll keep going forward. And I'll try to catch in on chats as I can to be able to welcome you as we're coming in. Okay, so on this evening's agenda, we're going to go through some updates about the Assembly email and communications. The special training that Anna is providing. I want to make sure I get it in here as well because of the email issues. And then there's the run through of Anna's recent articles. And then if we have time based on Joe's schedule as to what, if anything, if we're going to be able to discuss further at that point. So we'll go ahead and keep moving forward, and if we miss anybody, if calls get dropped or something, we want to make sure that we know that that our calls adjourned to December 11th, 6 p.m. Central. That's going to be for the Jural Assembly and Militia Assembly, and then the 18th is the next General Assembly. All right. So we'll go ahead and keep going. So our mission here is that we cannot fail. We're willing and able to do this work physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. We have resolve and determination. We walk the talk and work every day to bring the du jour into reality. We have excellent tools to complete our work. Why wouldn't we? Because we're children of God as well. And we set realistic and achievable goals. We learn and research constantly. We have a timeline. We track our progress. We measure our strengths and weaknesses. We continually improve and revise accordingly. And we conduct ourselves with peace and love. And I've got to get that website corrected. All right. Classic signs of infiltrators and behaviors of the deeply indoctrinated. Many of them don't even realize that they're doing it. It's because it's so second nature. It's an extra mask that they wear that they don't even realize that they're even a part of it. So you do have what's called an agent provocateur, one employed to associate with suspected persons and by pretending sympathy with their aims to incite them to some incriminating action or possibly in some violence. We don't want to go there either. So, and of course, examples in a sentence: the government used agent provocateurs to try to undermine the opposition party. Why would you think that would be the first sentence as example of a sentence? So that's what we've been experiencing. That's what we've got to change that, right? We've got to be that better image of what we're actually supposed to be. Infiltrators, informers, stool pigeons. Then you have the lurkers, those that want to hide in the quiet, or they want those email links, but they don't want to participate, but they want to be there, but they don't want to actually do anything because they're watching who's messing up, because I want to make sure I'm going to run and tell on them because they're doing this where we're all going to make mistakes. We've all been making mistakes. This is a path of course correction, so we've got to help each other see through that. All right, so here are some of the classic signs that the assemblies have experienced through the years, that many want to attack the leaders. Coordinator, Anna, James. Attack the foundational elements. There's a problem with the paperwork. They want the paperwork to be done differently, or there's something with the assembly process. Attack any progress so far. Want to divide and conquer, and so forth. All right, so let's go ahead and we need to be clear on what our mission is. We need to be reminded of what we're here for. What is our purpose that we are focused on to be able to make sure it gets completed this time around, right? Our Indiana Assembly is dedicated to the restoration, not the reformation, but the restoration of a complete and fully operational land and soil jurisdiction, state and county court system serving the people of Indiana. Okay, so that's the first item on our list of our mission that we're here for. Next is the preservation of the national trust, the enforcement of the public law, the upholding of the federal constitution owed to our state and people, and the repopulation of our land and soil jurisdiction. That's what we're all doing as we're getting our paperwork on the record, right? The filling of vacated public offices. That's why we're coming to the assemblies, and we need to start filling the roles to be able to stand up the assembly. There has to be people in it to stand it up. Remember in church where you had, here's the church, here's the steeple, open the door, there's all the people. Well, you're the people, right? And the reclamation of our material and intellectual public and private assets. So we've been given the mission. This is not a reformation, it's the restoration and reconstruction of what should have already been in play. To these ends, we, the living people of Indiana, have called the eligible Indiana nationals and citizen electors to assemble and to serve as jurors and officers. And we've established the process and procedure to qualify jurors and others competent to hold state citizenship and public office. Hence the purpose of all the paperwork. Hence the purpose of the process that you need to go through before you get to be at the table. We do this, though, peacefully and without rancor in the exercise of our unincorporated powers and capacity. So there's our mission. If you need to print that out so you can just read it once or twice a day to help you, remember what we're here for. And then take some time in the new member orientation call we had earlier this afternoon. The challenge was put out there. Well, why are you here? Why did you think about why you course corrected and corrected your status. Why are you coming to the assembly? What is it that you want to do? And can you come up with your own mission statement? All right, here are value statements. Oh, this way. We stand under the laws of nature, the laws of nature's God, the Ten Commandments, the Declaration of Independence. We accept the fiduciary responsibility of the Indiana Trust and operate under the prudent man standard, meaning we treat our state business as if it were our own business with honor and integrity. We keep the peace and uphold the public law. We report crime. We value each man and woman as unique creation of our Creator and recognize them as a powerful co-creator. We willingly choose to self-govern and strive to show up as our best self in each and every experience. We do not and we will not condone or participate in any form of insurrection, rebellion, or creation of armed forces other than the lawful state assembly militias operated as they are supposed to be operated within each state, and our land-based Continental Marshal Service, which is our jurisdictional interface with the U.S. Marshals Service. We perform under the treaties and constitutional agreements already established and for supporting the restored, again, we're restoring, we're not reforming, American government, the reconstruction thereof, and will become responsible for the conduct of the restored Confederation and Federal Republic. So we're not letting it go back to what it was, to what they turned into here. We're restoring it to what it should actually be. All right, we have the 4 pillars. General Assembly, which is this call here, provides a discussion and decision forum for intrastate business and acts as a committee of the whole to decide issues of general interest, conducts elections, and provides oversight for all assembly functions. Nationals and citizens for the General Assembly, nationals and citizens for the Assembly Militia. And that's focused on promoting public welfare within the boundaries of their state and is well regulated, guaranteed to each state for its internal security. And so then the International Business Assembly and the General Assemblies have to be citizens. Composed entirely of state citizens, conduct the international interstate business of the Assembly for the international business. And then in the General Assembly, providing the court services, oversees that grand jury, the trial juries, officers, and functions of the court. So those 2 are citizens, with the exception of the jurors that are talesmen, but they also have a qualifying process to go through as well. All right, again, here's the links to Anna's reminders of what needs to be done. A big one here is 4400, our court system of study tools to be able to help you. Here's 12 steps of the assembly process, and we're assemblies are populating the General Assembly. It's not established yet. It'll be established as we start filling in some of these roles and get that going. And then but then the others will simultaneously come together as well. And then election of session officials, Assembly State Nationals and Assembly State Citizens, training and transition. Once that's completed and the process is the assembly, all the pillars have stood up, the coordinators can sunset. The Federation releases to the state. Here are the 6 principal goals of what we're all doing here to build the assembly. Educate, educate, educate. Declare and record political status. Participate in the General Assembly and discuss in-state issues. Build up and staff your public court system. Serve as jurors. If eligible to act as a state citizen at this time, participate in the International Business Assembly to decide interstate and foreign issues, and build up and staff your assembly militia. And here's the article from Anna about that. So our goals then, of course, is we need to populate all of our counties. Then these are the first key roles that we need to fill for each of our states, for Indiana and for Kentucky, with the exception of State Marshal at Arms for Justin on Kentucky. They need a chair. They're going to need a chair pro tem. They're going to need a state secretary pro tem. And of course, Indiana needs all 3. Establish the committees, because that's where the actual work is going to get done. General education, you can be able to support in various ways of the general education calls, even in supporting outreach if there were things of status correction that you didn't want to get involved with as far as paperwork. Generally, there's ways that you can be able to support in those areas, or if you didn't want to get so deeply involved with the juror and so forth. But everyone is everyone is militia, because we're all the people, right? Doesn't mean that there's going to be, everybody's going to have different roles that they play in there. All right, and here's just a map of what counties, all the red for Indiana, have been populated. Yellow, they've at least spoken up that they're interested in more information, and the white is that they, or gray on the text chart, is that we haven't heard from those counties yet at all. So neighboring counties, if you're a neighboring county, you need to also reach out to your county next to you, right? Here is for Kentucky. Green are all the ones that are on the populated on the record. Yellow have spoken up, and white have not. So those that are, see what counties are next to you that have not even at least spoken up, but even if they've spoken up, start spreading the word, right? You're welcome to send them to the outreach calls that we're sharing, so that they can be able to start getting some information from there. And we're all a part of outreach. All right, so we're officially in January. We're moving over to free conference call, because that's when the Zoom platform thing, subscription will expire. We're not going to continue, because it has several features that through the years we haven't been using any of it. So so that expense. So we're moving to free conference call. So that's why we've been working that in. And at the wall here is the calendar of events, and I want to make sure, yeah, radio is on, good. So if you're not able to make it over here and get into YouTube or on to get into free conference call, you can, if the radio is on, you can be able to make sure you click it to be able to play, so you can be able to get that. I don't know if you're seeing that in Zoom too or not, but okay. So get back to this. All right, just as a reminder of the calendar of days, for the outreach first Saturday of the month, we've set for the first quarter. I'm still working on determining a town hall. I'd like to be able to connect with Justin. We can see about maybe teaming up to be able to help support that. And I added additional times within my consulting and recording hours to be able to support. So we're working through that. All right, so emails. Here is what's been happening. And this is why we've been going through a few email providers for getting the newsletters out to everyone. This is because the spam policies require that the recipient has to confirm that they want to receive that email and start receiving emails from them. Well, a lot of the email providers out there, if you don't, they're automatically pumping it into spam. Pump it into spam. And I'll show you a little more information about that. However, what's happening is when it bounces to spam, that provider will continue to bounce it to spam until you make that self-governing measure of saying either that it's not spam or it's not phishing. You do want to accept it. You have to follow through with that. Okay? And this is why, and you'll see here on the, I'll make it a little bit bigger here. Blacklisted by the invitation plugin. It is because once that email provider bounces it to spam the first time, until you go and manually select that it's not any form of spam, that email provider is going to keep putting it in spam. If it's bounced 3 times, the email newsletter server provider puts them as blacklisted. when you don't confirm your email that you want to accept it, it is the between that spam policy system that they've got set up with you not confirming that you want to receive those emails. Because of that, which that's where a lot of these providers are automatically by default kicking it into spam. You've got to go look at your spam to find it. Okay? And they're doing this. This is why we've had to go through several newsletter servers, because once you've been blacklisted in that email service, you have to go back. Then it's trying to get you yourself, because you yourself have to go back in and update those preferences and do that. And many just want to send a reply back saying, well, yeah, I want to keep getting those emails, but not going through. You have to do it yourself to undo it, or you have to give a brand new email address in order for me to be able to get it going. So one more time, we're going through starting a new email server, and I've set in play, and I'm going to go through and I'll have instructions on how you go through and accept the email, but you have to confirm the email before any more emails will come to you from the assembly. So I'm implementing a procedure so that is put in place, so there is a communication between you and me that you are receiving the emails, so that we can ensure it's happening. If you're not getting emails, you have to communicate to me that you're not getting emails, and we can go in and see what's going on. Okay, so this is why. So here are, at this point in time, there were already these that were still being bounced, unconfirmed emails, because people had not gone in and confirmed. This is just based on what domains. You're seeing Gmail is the largest domain that people use. And in the past, since using just this email newsletter server, just started this a few months ago, already Gmail has blacklisted 274 emails, just Gmail, that 274 Indianians are not receiving their emails, period. Okay, so this is what we're doing to try and mitigate this so that you can get the information. At the same time, you've got to be able to, you have to communicate. We have to do this together, right? This is the censoring and filtering that they're putting everyone through. So, let me do a screen, stop that, and come over here a minute, and I'll come over a quick walk through of this. Let me make this a little bigger, and then I'll screen. The desktop, or the YouTube people are seeing it, so now let me, and I think free conference calls should be seeing it. So let me now make sure Zoom is seeing. Okay, Zoom is in. Now, free conference call. Joe, are you seeing on the screen anything?
I am, yes.
Okay.
No confirmation process.
Oh, great. Okay. Making sure I get everything clicked. All right. So, this is what I've discovered. They're going to pop it into spam. So sometimes they'll do this, so you have to find it. So you'll drop down to find spam. It'll be in spam. It'll say it's coming from TIA Records. Okay, please confirm your newsletter subscription. You have to actually go in and confirm the newsletter. All right. So you've got two options. It'll have one that'll have a box that looks like this. You have to actually click it so that then it will go into your inbox. Then you still have to go in your inbox and open the email and click to do it. Or it'll do this, saying that it seems dangerous. Phishing. All right, so what you do with that one, because it doesn't have the little box like the other one, it has these three over here on the, it's over here on the far side over here. But they have these three little dots. You're going to click that on. You're going to click report not phishing. So that you're informing them that you want those emails. Now you want to make sure that it is coming from the assembly, obviously, first. Now, when I did this testing, it hadn't set up yet for the subdomain that I created for the newsletter aspect. Okay? And it'll give you, when you click that on, report not phishing, then you're going to have to click here, report not phishing message. Again, make sure it is one that's coming from the assembly. All right. So then it may go into your inbox. And so then you'll see it, and then you still have to open up the email and click confirm subscription. And this is what that email confirmation will look like. So you know it is coming from the assembly. It has our details in here. Okay. Now, I had one Gmail address where it went ahead and accepted it and I could receive emails. I had a second email that even though you reported it not phishing, it still didn't accept it. I had to still send a manual process. So, if it takes you to a bad site, because that's what when I clicked on it, it said bad site. Gmail did not accept it. Okay? So, now the first Gmail accepted it, where the second Gmail did not. So, if that occurs, you're going to email me, state that Gmail is blocking, and then I can then manually go in and give you opportunity to go back and reconfirm, or have the opportunity to unblacklist from there. But I have to know from you that you're not receiving, so we can even investigate to see why you're not getting the emails. Okay? So then if we have to go through that process to override it at that point, then you're going to get a test email to make sure that it's coming to you, and this is exactly what that test email will look like. Peace has been declared on the land. Okay? So the PDF will give you that. So I'm working ways of trying to help you all get that together. And it may have you do the same thing. Okay? But then it then comes through into your inbox, and then you can click from other things. Okay? All right, and here make sure you add the domain info into your safe senders, contact list there and such, so that way it will come to you. All right, so that's going to be able to give you, help you to be able to, we got to work together to be able to help each other to be able to communicate. I discovered this over the last couple days, and I have been working through trying to reorganize the email address, making sure that I have a good list to even start with, to merge over into a new one, get the process in place. So we really need to work together to make sure that we can communicate. It's a two-way street to be able to help support each other. All right, so back to the agenda. All right. Okay, so special coordinator training from Anna. And she even put together and wrote an article. So the coordinator introductory training will begin on December the 7th, Thursday beginning at 8 p.m. Central Time. This is a public government, and these are functions of our public government being discussed. So we don't need any security issues based on ANA, so we don't need to have any escort. But those that are wanting to learn, Even though the counties and the states occupy different jurisdictions and hold different powers, the job of the coordinators, both state and county coordinators, are very similar. So it's appropriate for them to train together. We will comment whenever there's a significant difference, but most of the time it works the same. So we want to make sure that it's for current coordinators, both state and county, including those temporarily suspended, and open to anyone who is genuinely interested in perhaps becoming a coordinator. Okay? County coordinator.
Christine,
Yep.
I think
Go ahead.
this is Joe. I think that link is out now for WebEx. I don't know who sent it, and maybe Terry sent it. Did you receive one? I mean,
Yes.
how would anybody that's on the call here today would be interested
Right.
receive that link?
I'm getting to that.
Okay, sorry.
No, you're fine. Did I? I did, didn't I? Yeah. Okay. So, she went through a brief walkthrough. This is where it's reminding us that we're restoring, we're not reforming. Okay. So, for a coordinator, right? These are what the minimum requirements are for a coordinator, at least to be able to step up. Okay. And we can have as many co-coordinators as we need to have to be able to help support the state. There's still a lead coordinator, because that way there's only one per 50 states trying to deal with, and the lead will process out through the co-coordinators. ONA and the Federation are providing this training, so it's not coming from this assembly. So we've got to have an RSVP sent, because they're wanting at least ahead. They need to know names and where they're coming from to present themselves, so they know they're okay to be in the call. And these are the dates: December 7th, 14th, 21st, 28th, 4th, and 11th. So if you're interested in getting that information, we've got to be able to let them know how many to expect from the state, and names, so that they know who all is going to be there. So email me if you're wanting to attend, but this is also attend, right? Great opportunity to get direct training from Anna. She does state, though, that when we want to make sure vetting is needed as part of due diligence when reviewing candidates for offices. This is a review of criminal records and conflicts of interest. This process is conducted by the Assembly Vetting Committee with help as needed from the Continental Marshals. This applies only to elections and should not be confused with the informal getting to know you questions that come with becoming an Assembly member. So don't forget, you do have those times where you're going to have, when you're first coming in as an Assembly member, we have some getting to know you time, right? All right, so and of course making sure that we're restoring, not reforming, and we're going to keep the Assembly on track, and we don't have to make any apologies if we're focused on staying on track. Okay. That is, then here are Anna's articles. A reminder about the med beds. If you wanted to support on Indiana, here is a link directly to be able to support, to possibly get the first med bed on, or multiple, or if you wanted one of your own, you can go here. Here's all the information as well. All right. That was all I had. Of course, we're all on the social media stuff going on, so you'll have those links in the agenda. Okay, Joe, how is your time?
I have just maybe 5 or 10 minutes, but I don't need probably just that much time.
Okay.
Great presentation, thorough as usual, very informative. I'm really looking forward to having someone from Kentucky joined that series of updated coordinators training. I'm sure it's going to be cutting edge on top of what the coordinators handbook already provides.
Absolutely.
So that's great. Yeah, and I'm sure you'll be thankful to have some relief too there with, and the synergy with coordination. It just gets better with dedicated men and women serving in that role. It becomes what they would call too easy at that
Yeah.
point. But even with the struggles you have, Christine, you seem to make it single-handedly, which it says a lot.
All by the grace of God.
I just wanted to add, I did send you an email, Christine. You mentioned that you did receive that.
Mm-hmm.
We are, if you want to go down to that chart that you have where we're tracking the roles, I think it's 19 offices at the state level, 22 at the county level.
On what
At
you
the bottom of your
emailed?
The county offices, yeah, and state
Oh,
offices.
the list we've been working on?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
So if you can blow that up just a little bit.
That one.
For those who are on the call haven't seen this, what we've been working on, we've been kind of coming in from the left and right around these offices, and what I was able to provide, it went off, to Christine and to Justin is content that the Federation recommends even regarding common law courts. That's what I have is 27 pages out of 57. I've seen up to over 100 or 102. So it's the same work that the Federation is tracking. It's very, Christine, when you see that, if you would, hopefully sometime this week, if you have time, you can read through those 27 pages and just a recording, if you have the time, that is. I'm sure your viewers will get a lot of value out of that. And those who are interested on joining the General Assembly functions, that of the state justice, jurors in general, counselors at law, how evidences are carried through into the court, the juror settings, how they're processed, the potency of verdicts that come down, all of that is in the 27 pages I provided you. So that then touches base with the justice role, which is in the dark purple there.
Mm-hmm.
And then I also provided a link to a nationwide repository of state level librarians, which we have treasurer and librarians and coroners that's not listed in any color. So we've already touched on the martial arms role. We have people, between these two states as the martial at arms. Of course, we do have a peacekeeping element. We have continental marshals. We have an area chief. I'm covering down for that for Area 4. Ohio has a state chief marshal. Kentucky has experience in that role as well. So Indiana and Michigan are left with to be able to provide that moving forward. And we did talk about what else did we talk about earlier? Which were we talking about before? Christine, can you remind me? Because this week we have that of librarian and justice. So librarian is probably the newest approach towards those roles.
Right. I know we talked about mainly having the main three roles of chair pro tem, marshal at arm, secretary.
Yeah, right. And I guess the more light we shed on these, eventually that we'll be having very thorough discussions about these roles, which is the pure intent of your calls here. Mm-hmm. So eventually, the more we touch base and return to touch base on each one of these that we shed light on, it's just a matter of time before these roles are very well known. So I did provide that. If you want to, really quick, if you can you go and tap into that email and pull up that, and I'll jump off after this. But that email that has the link to the state librarians, all 50 states state librarians. Because you'll be able to go in and see who your state librarian is, what is contained within that agency,
Right.
The resources as well. Just everything you would need to know with that of a librarian. Really interesting. It seems kind of innocuous or not so much going on, but you'll see it's quite impressive as to what goes on at the state librarian. of the state library and the librarian, which is a state elected role.
Oh, I think you sent it to the state email. Okay. Yeah. Okay, let me pull that up.
Yes, the second one down.
Link to share
Yep.
with the states. Okay, so now I can start sharing again.
Yep. Now you can go down to either. I know we have an audience of both Indiana and Kentucky, but go ahead. Let's go to Indiana and see. If you want to see?
Okay, just a second. Let me do that one and let me get sharing on free conference call. Oh, free conference call is still sharing.
It's to the left. To the left, the whole list of states. See 'em?
It's to the
oh,
left. Yep. Right. Just scroll down.
So you
To the
okay?
left,
Good. You are
Christine.
seeing it. Okay. So to the left, scroll down. Indiana. Gotcha. State library.
Yep.
Oh,
And Jacob
MUZ.
Spear is your state librarian. State of State Incorporated, but that's the role.
Mhm.
Or that's the, we could just parallel the two, unincorporated versus incorporated, and whoever would be your future Indiana State Librarian, that's the name they would be. And then you can click Indiana State Library as a hyperlink. Yep. And then you can start to go in and see all the rows. And I did peer into both Indiana State Library and
Oh.
Kentucky, and they're both similar. Very similar as far as resources, the whole layout. So just, folks, you can have a look at that, see what that's about. And for folks who are on the call for Kentucky, you can see that as well. I don't know if you can add that, send that out. I don't know, Christine. I guess maybe you can put that in the chat. I don't know, but the link for this.
Let's see.
It's a very important role. It's not just about books or anybody going into a conventional reading library, learning library. This is far more important, and just as you would imagine. So have a look at that, and as well the PDF, which is the top hyperlink in that email, starts to peer into precisely what's going on within the General Assembly regarding common law. So you'll have fun with that too. You might even be able to go to that email and paste that link too as well in the chat.
And free conference call needs that link in the chat too.
As far as that, the booklet that Anna, she held up a month or two ago regarding things that take place as far as courts go, common law courts.
Mm-hmm.
I have an excerpt of that. I want to say it was a free procurement. It wasn't purchased, but you can go on Amazon and purchase it for $8.
Mm-hmm.
Other places are selling it for much more, and very difficult to get a free version of that PDF, and it's not surprising. Maybe the powers that be don't want you to know about that. But anyway,
Right.
the focus will be here for librarians. So here's one step further in the elected offices within each state assembly. So it's going to be nice to be able to dive more into this soon. But I'm sorry I couldn't stay on any longer, but
Oh no, we thank you though for taking the time anyway. We're
Sure.
grateful.
glad to be here.
We
I
definitely.
can always contribute something or answer some hard-hitting questions that some folks might have. I'm always pleased to be here. I always learn a little bit more each time I come to these calls too. Yeah.
And it's all out.
I
It's,
don't know if you were going to.
Go
I didn't
ahead.
know if you were going to talking about the banking structure. I didn't see if that was part of the agenda, but
No, that's
I'll
just-
be listening to.
I got wrapped up in emails trying to figure out how to get the email communications opened back up. So,
Yeah.
as it was a free conference call, I sent an invite directly through free conference call.
Yeah.
for some of them,
Well,
and the
listen-
ones that were confirmed, I was able to send out an email to them.
Yeah, well, I'll be sure to listen to it. Said the orientation call on YouTube as well.
Yes, it'll be up there. It is up there it's on YouTube as well. Now I've got to start. I need to create a stationary page to start putting these new updated links on. For free conference call on the website and on At Home Indiana. So,
Okay.
and as
Well,
I
I'll
can
be
get
happy-
the email
have fun looking
situated,
through
the
that
links will go
state
in.
librarian, bro.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Thank you very
And
much.
The more I find each week, I'll send more.
Awesome.
Content.
It's exciting.
Okay. All right.
All right.
Thanks,
Thank
everybody.
you.
Thanks for having me.
Be safe.
See you.
See you next week.
Yeah. Okay. Bye.
All right. So, do we have any questions or comments? Because I went through everything that I wanted to make sure and get in for this evening. All right. Well, we'll go ahead and wrap up. So, since we do have some on the call, if we can go ahead and do it. Normally, we do a process when there's a few people on the call. We can go ahead and someone can make a motion to adjourn.
I motioned to adjourn, but thank you so much, Christine.
Awesome. Thank you, Lisa. We're grateful to
Appreciate
have you.
Appreciate your help.
Thank you very much. And we look forward to all the amazing things we're all going to be doing. Peace and love. And we will see you on the next call. Don't forget, then next week is another new member orientation. Good night.
Good night.
Recording stopped.